All right, everybody, what is going on? And welcome back to Mets Weekly, as we are live at this very moment on YouTube and on X for watch-along coverage of Mets versus Athletics game. I believe it is 16 of 162, the finale of this three-game set against the A's. But before we start, make sure to subscribe for live episodes of the Mets Weekly podcast following every single regular season series. Guys, make sure you check out the YouTube channel tomorrow because Carson and Andrew should be doing a full breakdown of this A's podcast. For those of you watching or listening on playback and want to join the conversation in the future, make sure to turn on our post notifications to know when we go live. Make sure to follow Mets Weekly on X, TikTok. Follow us individually. As always, the links are all down below in the description. But what is going on, everybody? We are here. We are live for another watch-along / post-game live stream here on Mets Weekly. And look, for the Mets right now, I know it's early in the season, but kind of feels like desperate times right now. Listen, they're 7-8. They're a game under 500. They're currently on a 4-game losing streak. They're struggling in all aspects of the team right now. Obviously, in totality, will I say that the pitching has been struggling as a whole? No, but the last couple of games, we have seen the pitching start to kind of, look a little bit worse for wear. Kodai Senga yesterday, he came up with a disastrous start. Luke Weaver's coming off back-to-back disastrous bullpen outings as well. Obviously, we all know the mess David Pearson has, shown himself to be through these first two starts of the season. But listen, the Mets need to stop the bleeding right now because obviously we all know what the next series on the schedule is. They're going out to LA for 3 games against the 2-time defending World Series champion LA Dodgers. And like I said, they need to stop the bleeding. And thankfully, the Mets do have some help for today in terms of, who's actually pitching for them on the mound, because they do have the ace of the staff, Freddie Peralta. He will be starting for them. I know that Freddie has kind of had difficulties with his, going quote unquote, deep into games, but it is a warmer day today in New York City and Queens. So hopefully we see, Freddie's command and his actual stuff be a lot better today on the mound. And hopefully that translates to him actually going deeper into the game. Hopefully, I'm sitting here right now. I hope that the Mets could at least get 6 innings out of Freddie Peralta, because we saw yesterday, because Senga only went, I believe, about 2 1/3 innings. They have to use a lot of their bullpen arms. Brazovan yesterday, he went 2 2/3. They used Raley yesterday. So the bullpen, and obviously they used Luke Weaver. Devin Williams has not been used at all this series, so he's at least fresh for the finale. But the Mets do need length out of Freddie Peralta today. Obviously, the Mets do have some fresher bullpen arms today. Obviously, we saw yesterday, he ended up pitching yesterday, but we saw that the Mets ended up DFAing Dickie Lovelady. Craig Kimbrell came up from Syracuse. And then today, we saw another move today from the Mets in terms of bullpen-wise. They designated for assignment Luis Garcia, and they ended up calling up Joey Gerber from AAA from the Syracuse Mets. So that's another fresh bullpen arm today. So I wonder if he will be used today out of the pen, if, let's say, Peralta doesn't go as deep as possible. I know Tobias Myers, he was used in the first game of the series, and he pitched like 2 2/3 innings. So I don't expect Tobias Myers to be available out of the pen either. So the Mets don't have a lot of fresh options out of the pen for this game. So again, that is one of the reasons why we need to see Freddie Peralta at least go semi-deep into this game. Again, if he could give this team 6 innings, I think we would all take that. And obviously then, we will end up working from there in terms of how we manage the bullpen. But of course, with Carlos Mendoza, do we necessarily trust him with managing the bullpen? Absolutely not. But, we'll see how it is. Listen, the other thing, and we'll get into the lineups eventually, probably in a second, but this lineup's got to hit. And I know when we look at the lineup as a whole right now, especially this lineup that Carlos Mendoza put out, it's not the strongest lineup. Can it get the job done? I'm not sure, but listen, they need to go out there, they need to hit, and they need to put up runs. So, but yeah, anyway, guys, let's get into the starting lineups. So for the Oakland Athletics, leading off and playing right field, it is Lawrence Butler. Batting second and playing first base, it is Nick Kurtz. Batting third and catching for them, it is Shea Langeliers. Batting fourth and playing left field for them, it is Tyler Soderstrom. Batting fifth and DHing, Carlos Cortez. Batting sixth and playing third base, Max Muncy. Batting seventh and playing second base, the former New York Met, Jeff McNeil. Batting eighth and playing shortstop for them, it is Hernandez. And then batting ninth and playing center field for them, it is Denzel Clark. Apologies, guys. And then on the mound for the A's, it is Aaron Savali. Over to the Mets side of things. Leading off and playing shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Batting second and DHing, it is Jorge Polanco. Batting third and playing first base, it is Jared Young. Batting fourth and playing third base, Bo Bichette. Batting fifth and playing right field, Brett Beatty. Batting sixth and playing second base, Marcus Semien. Batting seventh and playing center field, it is Carson Bench. Batting eighth and behind the dish today, it is Luis Torrens. And then batting ninth and playing left field, it is Tyrone Taylor. And then, of course, on the mound for the Mets, it is the ace of the staff, Freddie Peralta. And I'll just flash up the probable pitchers. So I showed you guys this last night on the postgame show. But, again, it is Savali versus Peralta today on the mound. Savali so far has had a good start to his season. 10 innings pitched, 2.70 ERA. Kind of has been bailed out a little bit by his defense because we see that the FIP is all the way up there at 5.48. And then a K-to-walk ratio of 9.5. And then over to Peralta's side of things, 15 innings pitched for him, a 4.80 ERA, a 3.58 FIP, and then a K-to-walk ratio or percentage of 21.9. And then, of course, the game will be starting at 1:40 today, and the game will be broadcasted on SNY. But like I said, it's let me get the lineups. There we go. It's a big game for the Mets today because they do not want to go down to LA, on a 5-game losing streak, 2 games under 500. And again, it's early in the season, so like the records as total, don't really mean a whole lot because we've seen teams like the Mariners struggle so far. They're under 500. What's it called? The Detroit Tigers, they're under 500 so far to start the season. The Chicago Cubs are under 500. So there is a lot of, quote unquote, teams. The Blue Jays have also been a team that has struggled so far out of the gate this year. There has been a lot of teams this year that have struggled out of the gate so far that had high expectations coming to the season. And of course, I'm not going to make that as an excuse because, of course, we have to focus on ourselves. But, again, it's still early on in the season to where, the Mets can salvage this. Like, the season's not over. But you don't want to bury yourselves early in the season because I know we all saw what happened in 2024. They were at one point like 11, 12 games under 500, and they managed to rally back. But that type of comeback and that type of, burying yourself and coming back later in the season, that is not sustainable. And it really only happens, once in a blue moon. And that 2024 Mets team found that magic, and they rode it all the way to the NLCS. This time, I wouldn't count on it because, again, it is so difficult, to rope yourself back in from being, 12 games under 500. Again, it's not a sustainable form of playing. So, again, they're only 7-8. There's still plenty of time to turn this around, but they got to make sure they win today. They have to make sure that they at least salvage a win out of the series. You can't get swept by the A's before you head into LA. And then, of course, you go to Chicago where you play the Cubs for a 3-game set. So, listen, Peralta has his work cut out for him, and then this lineup also has to perform. But guys, the game is about to get underway as well. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat right here. BBA saying late. No, we are not late, BBA. We are on time today. 6 innings is D for Peralta. Well, listen, he's got to go 6 innings today at minimum. Hornet, what is going on? Hey, Matt, I definitely saw Carson getting a ball signed by Beatty, then threw it at him. That's just typical Carson behaviors, throwing stuff at Brett Beatty. Obviously, listen, it's all for jokes. We don't condone player violence, but, we all know Carson's very complicated relationship with Brett Beatty. I'll leave it at that. And then NG saying, what's going on, NG? What's up? Thanks for providing coverage, even though this team has been urinating all over themselves. Hey, listen, we're here all season long. Doesn't matter if they're winning games, losing games, tying games, which is impossible. But, yeah, we're here for the whole season. So no matter what happens, we will be covering games. We will be doing post-game streams. We will be doing podcasts. We are here from Game 1 to Game 162, and hopefully beyond Game 162, hopefully the playoffs. But again, this team has to get on track before we even think about going to the playoffs. And then 1986 Mets rule, what is going on? Saying our 2 hottest hitters on the lineup today, shaking my head. Hey, listen, it's Carlos Mendoza. Listen, I get why Luis Robert is not, in the lineup every single day, because they want to keep him healthy, and we know that he has been, he's been kind of, had that injury bug his last couple years in Chicago. And then with Alvarez, listen, they played not even a night game, they played an afternoon game yesterday, so I kind of understand why, you don't really, and plus Alvarez caught the first 2 games of the series as well. So, but listen, if the Mets have a big pinch hitting situation in the game, you better believe that Francisco Alvarez will be off the bench today and hitting. But boys, the game is about to start. Freddie Peralta is about to go into his windup for the first pitch. Lawrence Butler is leading off for the A's. And here we go. The first pitch is thrown, and that fastball misses high and away. 1-0 count to Lawrence Butler, and we are underway at Citi Field for the finale of this 3-game set. Here's the 1-0 pitch by Peralta. Fastball again misses outside, so Peralta falls behind 2-0. Come on, Freddie. 2-0 pitch by Peralta. Fastball is skied up in the air. Carson Benj makes his way under it, but gives his way to Tyrone Taylor in left field, who makes the catch and secures the first out of the ball game. So there you go. Good start there by Freddie. And let me also update the scoreboard for you guys, because now we are out of the pregame, and the game is underway. All right, now here's Peralta. He's set. He is into his windup as he faces Nick Kurtz. Gets that curveball in for a strike, and Peralta is ahead of Kurtz here, 0-1. Obviously, we all know Kurtz is a very dangerous hitter for the A's. Major home run threat. Peralta throws that fastball up and away, and Kurtz swings and misses. So quickly, Peralta is ahead of him, 0-2. Kurtz so far batting 196 this year. He's the 0-2 pitch from Peralta, and third base umpire says he held up on that swing. That fastball was up and away, so the count is back to 1-2. And yep, he did hold up. All right, here's the 1-2 pitch by Freddie. Changeup just misses low and inside. Count back to 2-2. Shane Langeliers is on deck for the A's here. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that changeup misses low and inside. So Nick Kurtz works the count full. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Peralta gets Kurtz swinging there on the low and inside fastball. And that's the first strikeout of the game for Freddie Peralta. And the second out of this inning. There we go. Good start here by Freddie. 2 quick outs here on 9 pitches. You want to keep this pitch count low for him, because you want to get him through this game as quickly as possible, and you want to get him, as deep in this game as possible. But Peralta starts out Shea Langeliers here with that low and outside fastball as it clips the zone for strike 1. So he's ahead of Langeliers here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses high and away. Count sitting at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch by Freddie. And Langeliers takes that ball into center field, and that ball's just going to get down. Benj attempted to dive there for it, but he just couldn't get to it in time. So Shea Langeliers is on first base there with the single. And Langeliers continues his hot series against the Mets. Yeah, Benj just couldn't get to it. Maybe if Roberts in center field, who's more of a traditional center fielder, maybe he ends up making that play, but Benj, we all know he's more of just traditional corner outfielder. Attempted to dive for it, and it was close to it, but just unable to get it. It just went off the tip of his glove. But now here's Tyler Soderstrom in for the A's as he fouls off that first pitch fastball. Peralta is ahead 0-1. Hornets saying, I'm surprised at Freddie's velo on the fastball. I thought it was faster. I mean, he's typically more of a guy that sat around 94, 95. I mean, there's a couple times he could reach 96, but really Peralta's fastball isn't, that like elite, like high velocity. But Speaking of Freddie's fastball, he gets that in for a strike, so he's now ahead of Soderstrom here, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch by Freddie. Swing and a miss. Freddie Peralta sits down Tyler Soderstrom for the third out of the inning, and that's Peralta's second strikeout of the ball game. But a good one, but a good inning here for Freddie Peralta here. And now the Mets will come up to hit. It will be Lindor, Polanco, and Jared Young to lead off for the Mets here in the bottom part of the first inning. 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the first. All right, good start there by Freddie. Very good start. So we want to see quick innings out of him. And now this offense has to get to work. They're going to face a guy in Cade Cavalli, which, not the greatest starting pitcher in the world, but, this lineup has to do damage off of him. Like, no excuses again. All right, let me update the scoreboard for you guys. There we go. Ben's just lucky it didn't get past him. Yeah, he is lucky. That would have been at least a triple. Yeah, Langeliers is a bit of a quick runner, especially for being a catcher. BBA saying Taylor makes that catch while he's playing left field. Well, BBA, you're forgetting that Carlos Mendoza is the manager, so that should pretty much explain it for you. 1986 saying 15 pitches, that is the number you were trying to hit or get under for an inning. Yep, 100%. That is the over-under. And the BBA saying is Ben's our future center fielder. I don't know. I don't think he's our future center fielder. I think he's going to be our future right fielder. And even David Stearns talked about it before the season started. He said that they envisioned Ben just more of a corner outfielder anyway, and that's what they envisioned from him in the future. I mean, look, obviously things could change. If Ben maybe works on his defense a little bit more, he could become an everyday center fielder. But I think for right now, at least for the short-term future, he's going to be a corner outfielder. Obviously, if all things go well, Robert, he's going to play out the rest of the season here in center field, and then there is another option for him next year to extend them for another $20 million. So hopefully we have Luis Robert for the next 2 years in center field. That is the plan, and then, we'll go from there. All right, but here's Aaron Savali here on the mound for the A's. Here's the first pitch to Lindor. He takes that first pitch fastball outside, and Lindor is ahead of the count here, 1-0. Lindor 2 for 9 in the series. Again, slow start from him offensively with a 167 batting average and a 546 OPS. No home runs, no RBIs for him to start out this season. But here's Savali into his windup, the 1-0 pitch, and Lindor swings and misses at that inside fastball. Count sits at 1-1. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Lindor. And that curveball misses inside. Lindor ahead of the count here, 2-1. Hornets saying, let's hope Lindor's sober today. No more stupid mistakes. I mean, yeah, listen, I don't want to see any more mental mistakes from Lindor again. I don't know what's going on with him personally, but here's the 2-1 pitch. And Lindor lines that ball into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Butler fields that ball clean. He throws it into second base. But Francisco Lindor has a leadoff single here for the Mets. So the Mets have a runner here at first base, courtesy of a Lindor single to start off this inning. Good piece of hitting there by Lindor. Got that inside pitch and turned on it. All right, now it's going to be Jorge Polanco to bat right behind Lindor. Mets need a quick start offensively in this ball game. Here's the first pitch to Polanco. That changeup misses high and away. Polanco is out of the count here, 1-0. Polanco so far this season batting .200. Had his first home run as a Met yesterday, 2 RBI, 613 OPS, and he's 1 for 5 so far in this series. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Polanco. Takes that fastball outside. Count now 2-0 to Polanco. And here's the replay of Polanco's first home run. It was a hanging slider, and he just pulled it, and it just stayed inside the foul pole. All right, here's the 2-0 pitch. Polanco takes that slider in for a strike, 2-1. Today's parlay is Young, Polanco, Bichette, and McNeil to get a hit. Bichette needs an RBI too. All right, 86. Let's see what you're cooking up. What kind of shirt is that? Andrew, it is a Team USA shirt. And then I'm wearing a Lindor City Connect jersey. So there's your answer. 2-1 pitch. Polanco swings and misses at that curveball. Little bit of a hanger, but Cavalli gets the count back to 2-2. Polanco should have done a bit better with that pitch. Lindor got his hair braided overnight. I guess that was his hitting issue. I don't know. Whoa, BBA. What you trying to say, man? I'm not going to pull up that comment, but what you trying to say? I know you're just breaking balls, BBA. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Polanco. Takes that curveball in the dirt. Polanco works the count full. Hold on. My City Connect jerseys and demo will be the last current player jersey I get. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've kind of had like ideas to where it's like, you know, because players always move around, like to get blanks for a lot of jerseys. But then, I mean, there are some players like Soto, for example, which I got his jersey last year. That's the white one that I usually always wear in these watch-alongs. I just thought maybe, you know, change it up for sometimes. But, you know, if a player signed for that long, it's like, yeah, okay, you're safe to get his jersey. But here's the 3-2 pitch to Polanco, and he swings and misses at that fastball. And Lindor, what the fuck, Lindor? What the fuck was that? All right, that's a strike him out, throw him out, double play there for the A's. Polanco strikes out there, and then Lindor is just completely caught stealing. I mean, okay, sure. Sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. And BBA, you hate those jerseys. I didn't like them originally, but they kind of grew on me a little bit. They're not my favorite jerseys in the world, but I mean, they're all right. Tony, what's going on? And they start. I don't know what the fuck that was. All right. Cutter in there for a ball. Count now 1-1 to Jared Young. Jared Young so far with a very good start to this season. 6 for 18, 2 RBIs. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Young. And he hits that ball through the hole for a base hit. And Jared Young is on first base with the single. Could have, you know, maybe scored if fucking Lindor. I don't know what the fuck was what that steal attempt was from Lindor. But changeup was low and away. And Jared Young did a good job of getting in front of that pitch and took it to the right field for a base hit. All right, now here's Bo Bichette up here for his first AB of the day. Savali gets that fastball in there for a strike. He's ahead of the count, 0-1. Bichette batting a lot better in his last 42 plate appearances. 14 for 42, couple of hits, that home run he also hit yesterday. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That fastball's taken high and inside for a ball. Count is now 1-1. What are you thinking of Bo in the 4-hole? I mean, listen, I don't mind it. I mean, listen, the Mets need to change up something right now, and especially they don't have Soto right there in the 2-hole right now, so they got to change something up. And I mean, listen, if it's going to work for them, that's going to work. But here's the 1-1 pitch. That curveball's in there for a strike, and Cavalli is ahead of Bichette here, 1-2. Heard a caller on WFAM bring up that Lindor's maybe concussed happened. Yeah, Carson also brought that up too. I mean, listen, it could be a possibility. And if he's concussed, then he needs to fucking, you know, take some time off. Because right now he just looks lost. Oh, and that curveball is all the way in the dirt. That's going to get behind Shea Langoliers. And Jared Young will move up to second base on the wild pitch. And the count is also at 2-2. All right, here's the 2-2 pitch from Bo. Cavalli is into his windup, and Bo swings and misses at that up and away pitch out of the zone. Cade Cavalli has his first strikeout of the day, and that ends the bottom of the first inning for the Mets. So 2 hits, but no runs there for the Mets. We now head to the top of the second, tied at 0-0. And Celtic Milieu. I don't know if I've ever seen you in here, but what is going on? Welcome to the live streams. Hornet saying, I'm convinced Young is a better hitter when he's playing a position. And listen, he's played good so far this year, Jared Young. He's played, defensively, he's been very good. He's played a very solid first base. That one game in left, or that, couple of games in left field, he's been solid. Obviously, he had that assist out in left field during the Giants series where he threw out, I believe it was Ramos trying to extend a single into a double, and he had that very good throw to throw him out second base. So Jared Young's been very good so far this year, and it's been surprising because I was not a big fan of Jared Young last year, but he's been a pleasant surprise so far early this year. Celtic saying, it's my first time here. I bet the Mets, but didn't realize Soto was out. Yeah, Soto, he should be recovered from the IL soon. Obviously, he got put, at the end of the Giants series. It was right before the Diamondback series started. So he should be back. If he's off the 10-day IL, then he should be back in time for the Cup series. So he'll miss, this game. He'll miss the Dodgers series. And then he should be back by, the second game of the Cup Series in Chicago. Listen, we need him back as soon as possible because that's a huge bout we're missing in this lineup. But here's the first pitch by Peralta to Cortez. Gets ahead of him with a strike, 0-1. Cortez so far this season has started very well. 6 for 18, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and OPS just over 1,000. Here's the 0-1 pitch by Freddie. Fastball is fouled away, so Peralta is ahead of him, 0-2. And that's the home run that Cortez hit yesterday off Kodai Senga. Bit of a hanger, and took it out to right field and hit him into the bullpens for a home run. All right, here's the 0-2 pitch by Peralta. That fastball misses high and away. Count sits now at 1-2. Tony saying we should get Carson in for an inning to do play-by-play from the game. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I mean it's a nice idea, it's a nice thought, but yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. 1-2 pitch, and Cortez takes that ball to the opposite field for a single. Taylor fields that ball cleanly and throws it back into second base, but Cortez starts this inning off with a leadoff single. So Cortez stays hot here. Good piece of hitting, got that outside pitch and took it to the opposite field. So that's a leadoff single here for the A's. All right, now here's Max Muncy up here. The first pitch by Peralta gets that fastball in there for a strike. He's ahead of him 0-1. Max Muncy so far, and obviously this is the A's Muncy, not the Max Muncy from the Dodgers that we all know. But he's had a very good start this season, and Muncy fouls off that changeup, so Peralta is ahead of him 0-2. What's going on, Doug? I'm not gonna pull up the comment, but it's funny comment for me, Doug. You always have nice funny comments in here. All right, here's the 0-2 pitch by Freddie. He's a long hold here. Long hold. There you go. 0-2, and Muncy fouls off that fastball. Remains in the AB. Get Carson to heckle McNeil. I don't think I have to tell him to heckle McNeil. I think he's going to do that either way. All right, here's the 0-2 pitch again by Freddie. That changeup misses inside, and first base umpire says Muncy did not swing, so count is at 1-2. Sure, Doug. Yeah, you could send that outside. We'll listen to it, and we'll let you know what we think of it. As always, our Twitter handles are right here. And Muncy fouls off that changeup. Count remains 1-2. Yeah, you could either, as always, our handles are right here. And then if you go down to the description, all our handles individually are down below. It's Carson's, Andrews, Frank's, Evans, and mine's as well. So feel free, if you have anything to send, either a suggestion or a comment, feel free to DM us anytime. Maxwell, what is going on? I'm really starting to think we mismanaged Cortez and the Myers. Looks pretty good. I mean, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get rid of some of those guys and they go on somewhere else and they end up finding their thing. Sometimes it happens. Here's the 1-2 pitch again. And that pitch just misses inside. So Muncy gets the count back to 2-2. Just missed with that slider. Come on, Freddie, put him away here. Peralta here with a couple shake-offs here. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Muncy pops up that pitch, and that ball's going to go out of play. So count remains 2-2. 63 of you guys watching the live stream so far. As always, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. Also, share the live stream as well. As always, thank you guys for your support, because we would not be doing this without you guys. Here's a 2-2 pitch again. Fastball misses low and away. 96 mile an hour there fastball, and Muncy has worked the count full. Come on, Freddie, don't lose him here. McNeil on deck here for the A's. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Muncy fouls off that pitch again. Fouls off that changeup inside. So Muncy here with a very good and competitive AB here, and he's making Freddie Peralta work. Come on, don't walk him. Here's the 3-2. And that's a little dribbler. Fielded clean by Lindor. Just throw it over to first base. And Lindor throws over to Jared Young. Secures the catch there. That's one away. Muncy there busted his ass. Hopefully he's all right. He's up and walking, so it looks like he's all right. But, all right, that's the first out of the inning there. Muncy broke his bat there. He got jammed on the pitch. Yeah, inside fastball. Just got jammed. All right, there's one away, but Cortez is in scoring position here. Yeah, it was a little bit of a low throw there for Lindor, but Young with a good catch there, and they got him at first base. All right, now here is former New York Met Jeff McNeil up here. He's had a very good series so far against the Mets. And he's hitting well in his last 8 games. 12 for 27, 3 RBIs in his last 8 games. Here's the first pitch. And McNeil hits that ball, but fielded cleanly by Semien over to first base. 2 outs. Cortez moves over to third base, but the Mets here have 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. And Hernandez will come up here to bat for the A's. All right, here's the first pitch by Peralta. That fastball just misses inside. So Peralta falls behind in the count, 1-0. Darryl Hernandez here, 3 for 12 in this season. No home runs, no RBIs, and an OPS sitting at 500. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball clips the outside part of the corner. Peralta gets the count back to 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Hernandez fouls off that pitch. That will go out of play. So Peralta is ahead here, 1-2. Come on, Freddie. Put him away. Put him away here. All right. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Peralta. And Hernandez fouls off that high and away fastball. Stays alive in the AB. Count still 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch again by Peralta. Changeup misses low and in. Count now 2-2. Denzel Clark on deck here for the A's. Come on, Freddie. Put him away. 2-2 pitch. Hernandez fouls off that fastball. Here's the 2-2 pitch again. Peralta is into his windup. Curveball misses inside, so Hernandez works the count full. And again, the ace hitters are making Peralta work here early in this ball game. Come on, Freddie, put him away. See, Peralta is kind of talking here with Torrens. Home plate umpire standing in front of the plate. Signals 3-2 here. We know the count. I don't know what they're arguing about here in the dugout, but it's a 3-2 count. I don't know why. No, it's a 3-2 count. All right. Anyway, doesn't matter. 2 strikes. Put him away, Freddie. Let's go. Full count here. And that fastball misses inside. Peralta walks Hernandez here, and the A's have runners at the corners. Oh, Freddie, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Can we fucking work quickly here? Now here's Denzel Clark up here for the A's. Here's the first pitch. Peralta gets that fastball inside for a strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Changeup misses low and away. Count sits at 1-1 now. Here's the 1-1. Fastball called a strike. Clark is going to challenge that, and I think it's going to be overturned. That did not. I don't think that got the strike zone. Yeah, that just missed. It was close, but less than an inch. It is what it is. All right, count now 2-1. Two-one pitch. Clark fouls off that inside fastball. So Freddie gets the count back to 2-2. Gotta fucking get him out here. Torrens calls time. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Changeup misses low. And Torrens throws it back to third base. But Cortez gets back in safely. And I guess Hernandez stole second base. So now runners at second and third here for the A's. And Clark has worked the count full. Here's the full count pitch by Freddie. Here's the pitch. There we go. Got that through that freaking throw, that get me over curveball slider, but he strikes out Denzel Clark there to get out of this inning. So Peralta gets a little bit in a jam there. Ace had runners to second and third, but he gets a huge strikeout there on Denzel Clark to work out of that jam. We now head to the bottom part of the second inning, where the Mets will have Beatty, Semien, and Benj hitting here for the Mets. I think Sandy's going to be a target this season either way. I think they'll end up trading for him. I mean, of course, the Mets have to be, contention, and that all depends on if this team wants to get their heads out of their asses. But I do think that if the Mets are in it, Sandy will be one of the guys that will be targeted. Listen, I think Freddie's still a good pitcher. Whether he's an ace or not, that depends, because we know he's a short-term pitcher. Freddie is still good. Listen, Freddie's still a good pitcher. Like, I don't want to hear anyone argue that otherwise, because the results do prove that he is a good pitcher. He just doesn't go deep at the games. It's frustrating, but it is what it is with him. No, I don't agree, but I think he could be a number two. I still think the later we'll get into the season, I think he'll be able to consistently hit that six inning threshold. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. I still think he'll be able to. Once we move a little bit close to the middle part of the season. But I think Freddie could be a decent number two. Again, 3 is like minimum. I think he could be a good number two. That's my opinion, though. What was Duck saying? Evan Roberts says 40 game mark for Mado. 40 games is fucking too long. Bro, listen, if the team keeps sliding, you can't fucking sit here and wait till 40 games. Beatty skies that ball into left field, and Tyler Sosham will go over to make the catch to record the first out of the inning. You can't wait till 40 games. Like, if this team is sliding and they keep losing series out, you can't wait till 40 games. Because 40 games, I'm sorry, that's too... You're waiting too fucking long to just pull the trigger. Like, listen, for me, you guys know how I feel about Mendoza. It's a matter of time. Like, the guy's a sitting duck. He's gonna get... I don't see... The only scenario... Like, the chances that I see Mendoza getting through the season is very slim. It's like a 10% chance that Mendoza survives this whole season. I don't see it. I think he's a dead man walking for me. But here's Marcus Semien in for his first AB of the ball game. Takes that pitch outside for a ball. So he's ahead of the count 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch by Cavalli. Semien, let's see what the first base umpire says. He says he went around on that pitch. Cavalli gets the count to 1-1. I mean, Maxwell, for your opinion, you think it's 5 games with the 500? If they got swept today, bro, he should be fucking shot out of the cannon. I would not let him get on the plane to LA, because that is a fucking disaster waiting to happen. But here's Semien. Here's ahead of the count 2-1. Here's the pitch, and Semien skies that ball into not the second baseman. McNeil's calling him off, and he makes the catch to secure the second out of the inning. So Cavalli here with 2 quick outs here as he retires both Beatty and Semien. And now Carson Bench will come up here. I mean, I don't know if it's the full thing that Sturz needed a scapegoat, but again, was there really anyone out there, like a veteran manager, that really, like, you looked at and said, okay, like, that's the guy? I mean, listen, they could have gave it to Kai Correa, and probably if they fire Mendoza, he's going to be the guy that gets the job next anyway, but I don't know if they just wanted necessarily to put all the pressure on Correa to start the season. I don't know. To me though, I would have got rid of Mendoza after the season ended last year. There was too many red flags for me. But bench is ahead of here at Cavalli 2-0. No, Maxwell, listen, I agree. The players have to take responsibility, but at the end of the day, like, you also have to look at the context of where, okay, like, you just rehauled basically half the roster. You brought in a whole new coaching staff. Listen, don't get me wrong. If the same group came back and the same players were underperforming, that's fine. Listen, I understand that. But when it's a whole new set of players, then at that point, I don't think it's just the players. At that point, you have to look at the manager and say, okay, listen, the motivation or the lack of motivation and the lack of preparing a team to be ready to play, that's a big red flag there that this manager's not good enough. And bench hits that ball, but it's fielded cleanly by Nick Kurtz, who throws over to Cavalli, and he steps on the back to record the final out of the inning. So a quick 1-2-3 inning here for Cavalli here, and now we head to the top of the third inning, where Butler, Kurtz, and Langoliers will lead off for the A's here as they face Freddie Peralta for a second time through the order. Game is 0-0. We head into the top of the third. So that's just my thing. Because it's a whole new, like, it's a lot of new guys. I just again, I understand the players have to go out there and play, they have to perform, and they have to be held accountable as well. But I'm sorry, when it's a whole new set of players and a whole new coaching staff, and the same mental mistakes are happening, that falls on the manager. That falls that there's a lack of motivation, there's a lack of discipline, there's a lack of accountability, and there's just a whole lack of preparedness as a whole. And listen, again, this is 3 straight seasons in a row under Mendoza where we've seen these teams have long stretches where they play lackadaisical and very lazy baseball. So it's, and again, I know that teams have bad stretches, but you should not be looking this bad through multiple seasons at certain points of a season. That's just, again, that's a bad sign for Mendoza. And is Manai available for long relief today if we need it? I mean, he pitched the second game of the what's it called? He pitched the second game of the Diamondback series because, again, Peterson completely shit himself on the mound. So he might be available, but then again, Peterson's starting tomorrow against the Dodgers, so I mean, you might want to save Peterson. I mean, you might want to save freaking Manai for tomorrow to freaking eat up innings again. All right, here's now Lawrence Butler up here for a second AB of the day, and Peralta gets ahead of him with that fastball, so he's ahead here 0-1. Butler, of course, flew out to left field to start off the ball game. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball misses low and in. Count sits at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Freddie gets that fastball in there in the lower part of the zone. He's ahead of Butler here 1-2. All right, Freddie is into his windup. Here's the pitch, and Butler skies that ball out into the outfield. Benj is underneath it to record the first out of the inning. So good quick work there by Freddie there on Butler. And now here's Nick Kurtz up here for his second AB of the day. Maxwell saying very true. Mendoza hasn't done his job, but when it comes to keeping the team locked in for a full season, yeah, exactly. All right, here's the first pitch. Kurtz swings and misses to that high and away fastball. Peralta quickly ahead here 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Beautiful change up there by Peralta. Catches the inside lower part of the zone there, and he's quickly ahead of Kurtz here, 0-2. Kurtz last year won AL Rookie of the Year, had a very good power year last year. Of course, he was the one that hit that 4 home run game in Houston last year. Here's the 0-2 pitch by Freddie. And Kurtz takes that ball out to right field, and that ball's going to sail out of here for a home run. Nick Kurtz with a solo home run into right field, and the A's take an early 1-0 lead here. So Nick Kurtz got that inside pitch from Freddie Peralta, turned on it, and the A's are ahead here 1-0 in the top of the third. All right, well, there we go. So there we go. Nick Kurtz, of course, power threat, strikes early here. And now here's Langoliers up here. And Langoliers skies that ball out to right field. Beatty will get underneath it. Jesus Christ. But he secures the catch there for the second out of the inning. Yeah, just hanging curveball. Just didn't break enough. And Kurtz did a great job. Took that ball to right field for a home run. Peralta there shaking his head there. All right, now here's Tyler Soderstrom up. He swings and misses and goes after that outside fastball. So for Peralta ahead here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Changeup misses low. Count sits at 1-1. Soderstrom struck out in the first inning. Here's the pitch. Swings and misses to that fastball. Peralta ahead here now 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Soderstrom hits that ball up the middle. Fielded clean by Semien over to first base. 3 outs. So the A's here strike early in the third inning, courtesy of a Nick Kurtz solo home run. And we head now to the bottom of the third, where the A's are up 1-0. It will be Torrens, Taylor, and Lindor to hit here for the Mets. So offense got to do its job now. You got to score runs to win a ball game. So they were gonna have to score runs eventually. So, but let's see. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, back now. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Beatty looks awful in the outfield. Yeah, listen, we all know that fucking Beatty's not an outfielder. And Carson's been, on that for a while now. Just Beatty should not be in right field. All right, now here's Luis Torrens here, leading off for the Mets here in the bottom part of the third against Cavalli. Cavalli starts him off with that outside cutter. He's ahead now, 0-1. Torrens so far 4 for 16 this season. No home runs, 4 RBIs, and a 563 OPS. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Torrens lays off on that slider out of the zone. Count back to 1-1. 86 of you guys watching the stream right now. As always, thank you guys for your support. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. Share the live stream as well. As always, we do these live streams for you guys. So, as always, thank you guys for your support. But here's the 1-1 pitch. And Torrens hits that ball, but it's fielded cleanly by Hernandez over at shortstop. And he throws it over to Nick Kurtz at first base to record the first out of the bottom of the third. All right, and now Tyrone Taylor will hit here for the Mets, as he's the 9-hole hitter for today. All right, Taylor ahead here, 1-0. Swings and misses at that outside pitch. Cavalli gets the count back to 1-1. And Taylor hits that ball out to left field, and Soderstrom will get underneath it to record the second out of the inning. So 2 outs quickly here for Cavalli in the third inning. And Cavalli here with only 34 pitches in this ball game. He's working quick. Here's Lindor, though, for his second AB of the ball game. Of course, led off the Mets with a single in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the first pitch to Lindor. Takes that pitch out, takes that curveball outside for a ball. So he's ahead here, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That fastball's taken outside, 2-0. And of course, coverage begins tomorrow. The Mets start a 3-game set in LA against the Dodgers. That should be fun. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And Lindor gets under that and skies it up onto the outfield. Hernandez gets underneath it to record the third and final out of the inning. So again, Cavalli here with a quick 1-2-3 inning here. Mets go scoreless in the third inning. We head to the top of the fourth. The A's are still up 1-0. Bro, listen, can they just fire fucking Mendoza tonight, please? I beg them. I beg, just rip the Band-Aid off immediately. Like, don't let this shit go to fucking LA. I beg. I fucking beg. I don't care even if they win this ball game. That guy cannot go to LA. I don't care. I don't care. Because they have to change something. Well, I mean, Horton. Listen. What else are you going to change right now? Like, is there a big trade that this team can make right now? Probably not. Well, what's the one thing that you could do to motivate a team right now and get their heads out of their asses and put everyone on check? Get rid of the fucking manager. I'm sorry. It's just, no one looks like they're ready to play. And again, that's a sign on just being a poor manager. And again, like Maxwell's saying, and like I was saying, it's the only thing that you could do right now. It's the only thing that you could do right now to try and spark the team. Because again, there's no, sure, could you technically call up one of your young starters? Sure, but how is that going to help with the offense? Peralta falls behind here on Cortez 2-0. Listen, and I get that Soto is out, but still, Soto's not going to fix all the problems. The offense will be a bit better, but what about the defensive lapses? What about the base running? Cortez fouls off that fastball. Peralta gets the count back to 2-1. It's just this team needs someone to be fired so that they oh shit, okay, we need to get our heads out of our fucking asses. Cortez pops up that pitch on the infield. Bichette will get underneath it, makes the catch, records the first out of the fourth inning. Again, like I brought it up yesterday on the postgame show. If any of you guys didn't watch that, make sure you guys check that out. It's like what the Buffalo Sabres did this year. Kevin Adams was the GM for a while. They kept underperforming every single season. They fired him. They hired Jarmo Kekalainen. And the first thing that Kekalainen said when he first got in there is listen, no one's position on this team is safe. You have to earn your spot. Otherwise, you're going to be gone. And look how the players reacted. They had a couple huge winning streaks, and they just broke their freaking playoff drought, and they're into the playoffs for the first time in 15 years, since 2011. Sometimes you need to go in there and say, listen, guys, if you don't get your heads out of your asses, there's going to be changes. Guys will sit. You're not going to be guaranteed playoff. You're not going to be guaranteed playing time. I don't care how much money you make. You have to earn your spot. So, but Peralta falls behind here on Muncy 3-0. So listen, it is what it is. Sometimes you have to scare the players. And sometimes you got to send the message. Muncy pops up that pitch. It goes out of play. Count now sits at 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Fastball clips the inside part of the zone. Peralta gets the count back full. Here's the 3-2 pitch by Freddie. And that fastball misses inside, so Muncy walks Peralta here in the fourth inning. So the A's have a base runner here at first base, courtesy of that walk. And Jeff McNeil will come up here for the A's. 86 saying chemistry is very important. This team doesn't have any. Proof is if you see the A's or other teams hit home runs, they do something goofy or dumb. Mets don't have that. Haven't had this since. So, I mean, listen, I don't think you necessarily have to have that, though. It's just you need guys that are just ready to fucking play and be prepared. This team, they just don't have that. All right, Peralta gets ahead here of McNeil all in one as he fouled off that pitch. Here's the 0-1 pitch. McNeil hits that ball into the outfield. That's going to get down for a base hit. Beatty will cut off that play. Muncy will head into third base. Are they going to hold him at third base? Yes, they will. But Jeff McNeil there with a double. And the A's have runners at second and third here with only one out. Fastball, middle, way too much plate. And McNeil did a good job. Took that pitch to right field. And the A's have runners at second and third here with one out. And Hernandez will come up here to hit for the A's. Hernandez walked back in the early innings as he fouls off that first pitch fastball. Peralta gets ahead here 0-1. Is Mendoza constructing a lineup or Stearns? I don't know. I don't know who's making the lineups, but the Mets had the infield in here. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hernandez fouls off that curveball. So Peralta's quickly ahead here 0-2. But it's not even just so much like the lineup. It's not that like guys are just not. It's just everything right now is off. The base running, the fielding, the fundamentals, everything's just off. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That changeup misses low and away. Count now 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Beautiful changeup there by Peralta. Gets Hernandez swinging. And that's a huge second out here for the Mets and Freddie Peralta. As now they can push back their infielders here. They can push back the like I said, push back the infield. And now the A's need a base hit here to bring in a run. Come on, Freddie, get out of this. And it's going to be Denzel Clark here hitting for the A's. And Clark bloops that ball into center field. And what a play by Carson Bench! Beautiful diving play to save 2 runs for the Mets. Beautiful play by Carson Bench. He attempted that diving play earlier in the ball game, couldn't come up with it, but Bench there stretches out in center field and comes up with that ball. So a huge third out there for both Freddie Peralta and the New York Mets. We heading out to the bottom of the 4th with the Mets still down 1-0, but that is 2 huge runs saved there for the Mets. Hopefully that can turn around the fortunes of this ball game. I mean, if that doesn't change the momentum of this ball game, then I don't know what will. Yeah, the vibes are off at this year. Starts with Lindor. Yup. Nice. Bench. Yup. Bench saved us right there. Peralta threw 100 pitches last start, so he'll try to go 5 innings. That was a nice play. Yup. Mets get 2 runs in this inning. I mean, listen, hopefully. It's going to be Polanco, Jared Young, and Bo Bichette here to lead off for the Mets in this inning. Ken, what is going on? Innings behind. I mean, listen again. You know the deal, Ken. I watch on LBTV, so you gotta deal with that. I'm sorry, man. But here's a replay of that beautiful play by Benj in center field. Got a good read on it. Got a good first step and just laid out. What a play. All right, here's Polanco now to lead off this inning for the Mets against Cavalli. Takes that fastball in the zone for strike 1. Yep, Sal, save of the game by Bench. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Polanco. That changeup gets bounced in the dirt. Count now 1-1. Polanco struck out earlier in the game. She struck out all the way back in the first inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Polanco fouls off that fastball. Count now 1-2. I hate that McNeil's had a great series. Typical. Listen, you shouldn't be surprised. None of us should really be surprised. Game for WAR. What is going on? It takes time for new players who might be team leaders to establish themselves. They're not going to take charge when they themselves aren't playing well. And Mendy isn't the man enough to take charge. Yeah, I get that. I feel you. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Polanco with a good take there. Takes that changeup outside. Count is now 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Polanco swings and misses at that curveball in the dirt. So Polanco is down on strikes for the second time in this ball game. One away here for the A's in the bottom part of the fourth. That's an ugly swing there by Polanco. All right, now here's Jared Young up here for his second AB of the ball game. Singled back in the first inning, and he takes that changeup outside for ball 1. 100 of you guys watching the live stream so far. As always, thank you guys for your thank you guys for your support. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. Share the live stream as well. As always, thank you guys. We do these live streams for you guys. But Young is now here ahead of the count 2-0 as he takes that curveball inside. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and Young fouls off that fastball, 2-1. Tigers up 3-0 here on the Marlins. Jared Young hits that ball, but it's fielded clean by McNeil over to first base, 2 outs. And now Bill Bichette will come up here for the Mets. Oh, Skubal has got no hits. Has a no hitter through 5 innings. Yeah, because I'm not listening with the what's it called, with the volume. Here's the first pitch to Bichette. Takes that fastball on the outside part of the zone for a strike. Cavalli's ahead here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Good take there by Bichette. Takes that slider outside for a ball. Count now 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Bichette swings and misses at that curveball outside and low. So Bichette falls behind here, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Bichette. And he hits that ball, but it's fielded cleanly by Nick Kurtz over first base. Takes the ball over to first base, steps on it to record the final out of the inning. So again, another quick 1-2-3 inning of work here by Cavalli. So the Mets are down in order, and we head to the top of the 5th with the A's still up 1-0. This is a big inning of work here for Peralta because he's got to get through this inning minimum. Whether his pitch comes low enough to start the 6th inning, that's remains to be seen. But at minimum, he has to go through and get 3 outs in this inning. AJ Minter tossed a scoreless inning in St. Lucie today, so that's good signs for the Mets at least. That Minter looks like he's working his way through rehab. Of course, we also saw Tommy Pham yesterday. He hit another double in St. Lucie for the Mets. So, with Talkman out, with Soto out right now, and the Mets just needing bench bats and depth desperately, Tommy Pham, hopefully he could get up here as quickly as possible and help this team out. All right, and it was Denzel Clark that made the last out of the inning for the A's, so the top of the order will lead off for them. It will be Butler, Kurtz, and Shea Langoliers. Peralta gets ahead of Butler here with that strike pitch. So he's ahead 0-1. Peralta's into his windup. Here's the pitch, and Butler hits that ball out to Semien, fields it cleanly over to first base, 1 out. And now Nick Kurtz will come up here for his third AB, and of course, he hit the only run of this ball game so far with that solo shot back in the third inning. So Peralta's got to be careful here. Maxwell saying it still blows my mind how different this team plays without one player, Soto. I must listen. Like I said, Soto, it's a huge loss because the guy, he's the third best hitter in baseball. So it was always going to make some kind of impact on this team, but they shouldn't be this bad without Soto. This is a whole nother level of bad. If they were consistently putting up 3-4 runs a game, that's one thing. But the fact that they're struggling to even put up anything, it's a bad sign for them. All right, but Peralta falls behind here on Kurtz 2-0. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Falls behind 3-0. Come on, Freddie. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Fastball misses outside, but the umpire calls it a strike, and Nick Kurtz doesn't challenge there, so 3-1 count here to Kurtz. Here's the 3-1 pitch by Peralta, and that fastball misses low and outside for ball 4, and Nick Kurtz draws a walk here in the 5th inning. So the A's have a base runner. And now Shea Langoliers will come up for the A's. 1 for 2 in this ball game, singled back in the 1st inning and flew out to right field in 3rd inning. Peralta here so far with 80 pitches. He's about to throw his 81st pitch of the ball game. Here's the pitch. Fastball catches the outside part of the zone. So Peralta gets ahead of Langoliers here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Langoliers fouls off that changeup, so Peralta is quickly ahead of him, 0-2. Come on, Freddie. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses high and in. Count now 1-2. Terrence thought about throwing over to first base to try to pick off Kurtz, but he stops his motion. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Changeup misses low and away. Count now 2-2. Tyler Soderstrom is on deck here for the A's. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Langler fouls off that fastball, stays alive in the AB. Pittsburgh up 5-0 over the Cubs to start the bottom of the second inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch again by Freddie. And swing and a miss there by Langoliers. Peralta gets him swinging and missing with that fastball up in the zone. Big second out there and a huge strikeout there by Peralta. And now Tyler Soderstrom will come up here with 2 outs. And a runner on first. Come on, Freddie, just get through this inning. Here's the first pitch to Soderstrom. Fastball misses outside for ball 1. Soderstrom so far 0 for 2 in this ball game with a strikeout back in the first inning and hit into a 4-3 ground out back in the third inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Changeup is hit on the dirt. Little dribbler to Semien over to first base. 3 outs. So Freddie Peralta works around the walk to Nick Kurtz, and he has another good inning of work here, another scoreless inning. We now head to the bottom of the 5th with the A's still up 1-0, and he has around 87 pitches. I would start Peralta in the 6th inning. I would. You used a lot of your bullpen arms yesterday. I would start him in the 6th inning. But we'll see what the mighty Carlos Mendoza does, because I don't trust him for a second, as you guys know. And yeah, BBA agrees there. Maxwell agrees also. Yeah, you got to send them out there as well. Also, guys, we haven't done it yet so far, so I'll do the I know SNY has kind of shown some of the scores around the league, but I'll just read you guys some of the scores around the league. So right now, the Orioles and Giants are playing. The Orioles are up 2-1, bottom of the 5th in Baltimore right now. The D-backs are leading the Phillies 1-0 in Philly so far. That game's through 5 innings. The Twins are up big time over the Blue Jays right now, 8-1 in the top of the 4th in Toronto. The Angels are up 7-0 in Cincinnati over the Reds. That game's currently in the bottom of the 4th. The Tigers and Marlins are currently playing. The Tigers are up 4-0 in the top of the 6th. Tarek Skubal has a no-hitter going so far. The Rays so far up 3-0 over the Yankees. That game's in the bottom of the 5th in Tampa Bay. The Brewers are currently beating the Nationals right now 1-0. That game is through 3 innings in Milwaukee. The Red Sox are up 3-1 on the Cardinals right now. That game is in the bottom of the 2nd inning in St. Louis. And then, as we also just saw, the Pirates are up 5-0 over the Cubs in Chicago, 5-0. That game is in the bottom of the 2nd. And then later on today, the White Sox and Royals, they should be playing right now, but that game is currently in a rain delay. Rockies and Padres later at 4:10. Same with Astros, Mariners, Rangers, Dodgers, and then Guardians and Braves is the late night, Sunday night Peacock game at 7:20. So everyone's all caught up here on the scores. All right, and Bichette made the final out for the Mets in the 4th inning. So it'll be Beatty, Semien, and Bench to lead off here. Here's the first pitch to Beatty. Takes that pitch outside for a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Beatty. Takes that pitch outside again, so Beatty has the count in his favor here, 2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Beatty takes that pitch right down the middle for a strike. Count now 2-1. Cavalli's into his windup. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Beatty fouls off that inside pitch. Count is now 2-2. Gotta work his pitch count up, man. He's only at 55 pitches right now. Starting the 5th. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Beatty. And he takes that ball to the outfield. Soderstrom underneath it. makes the first out of the inning. Fucking Beatty, man. Oh my god, this guy, he sucks. Everything. He takes everything to the opposite field. Motherfucker can't fucking he can't pull a pitch to save his life. Out here, Semien up here. Swings and misses at that curveball. Cavalli ahead 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Semien, and Semien drives that ball out to left field, but Soderstrom will get to it to record the second out of the inning. So Semien made good contact there, but hit it right at Soderstrom. And a good defensive play by him. And now Carson Benj will come up here as the third batter for the Mets here in the bottom of the fifth. Benj 0-for-1 here. Grounded out back in the second inning. Here's the first pitch. Benj fouls off that fastball. Count sits at 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That pitch misses inside. Count now 1-1. Here's the 1-1. That pitch just clips the top of the corner. Fastball just clipped it. Benj is behind here 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Benj. And he skies that out to left field. Soderstrom underneath it to record the final out of the inning. So again, another quick inning of work here by Cavalli. 1-2-3 inning. And we head to the top of the sixth where the Mets are still down 1-0 to the A's. Yippee. Yeah, Cavalli 90. Yeah, Cavalli 61 pitches and Peralta's close to 90. And Mets 2-1-2-8. What's going on, man? Where's the fucking plate discipline? I don't know. I don't know where the plate discipline is. I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we're back in here. Here's Cortez leading off the A's here in the top of the sixth. Peralta misses with that changeup in the dirt. So Cortez is ahead here 1-0. And Cortez drives that ball out to left field. But Tyrone Taylor gets underneath it to record the first out of the inning. One away here. And Peralta, that was his 90th pitch of the ball game. So I hopefully that he can get through this inning. So Muncy will hit next year for the Mets. Yeah, BB. I thought off the bat that was going to the cameraman. Kind of screwed with us there. But Peralta there with the curveball there, and Muncy swings underneath it. So Peralta here ahead here 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Muncy swings and misses at that curveball. So Peralta here quickly had 0-2. Peralta into his windup. Here's the pitch, and Muncy fouls off that curveball. So remains in the AB. Count still 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch by Freddie, and Muncy fouls off that fastball. Here's the 0-2 pitch again. Changeup misses low and away. Count now 1-2. Come on, Freddie. Get through these next two batters. Torrens kind of calming him down here. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Muncy fouls off that curveball. So Muncy here with another competitive AB. Muncy here 0-1. Grounded out back in the second inning and then walked in the fourth inning. I guess Chaminade is warming up. So, all right. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Beautiful changeup there by Freddie Peralta. Gets Muncy staring at that pitch in the zone, and a huge strikeout here for Freddie Peralta in the top of the sixth inning. 2 outs here. And Jeff McNeil will be the batter now here for the A's. Freddie at 97 pitches, 3 away from hitting the 100-pitch mark. McNeil 1 for 2 in this ball game. Here's the first pitch. McNeil swings and misses at that changeup low and in. Freddie's here ahead 0-1. McNeil with a very good series so far. He's 6 for 11 with an RBI. That's a .545 batting average. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses outside, 1-1. And Freddie Peralta is about to throw his 100th pitch of the ball game. Here's pitch number 100, and McNeil hits that ball right to Jared Young on a line. He secures that catch for the final out of the inning. So Freddie Peralta on his 100th pitch of the ball game is able to get through the 6th inning. The Mets are still down 1-0 though as we head to the bottom part of the 6th inning. But overall, good inning by Freddie Peralta. Just made the one mistake to Nick Kurtz for the solo home run. But listen, the offense has to score runs. That's it. Peralta did his job. He gave you 6 really good innings of work with only 1 run given up. So now the offense has to step up. Six innings, 1 run is a good start for Freddie. Yup. And just like that, he's out of the 6th inning. Yup. It's a miracle. Good on him. Let's see. He pitched well today. All right, and it was Benj made the last out of the inning for the Mets, so it'll be Torrens, Taylor, and Lindor to hit here for the Mets in the bottom part of the 6th. 99 of you guys watching. Now just jump up to 103. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for your guys' support. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well if you guys can. We always appreciate you guys' support here on the channel. NG saying a team paid almost as much as the Dodgers can overcome a 1-run deficit. If I were Con, I'd be pissed. I'd be too if I was the owner. But Mets got 12 outs to work with here, so maybe they'll score a run, maybe they won't. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. But we'll be here to document the journey along the way. All right, here's Luis Torrens now leading off for the Mets here in the bottom part of the sixth. Cavalli misses high and away with that first pitch, so Torrens is ahead of the count here, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Torrens. Swings and misses through that pitch. So count now sits at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Torrens holds up on... Did they? Nope, yep, first base umpire confirms. Held up on a swing. Count now 2-1. Yeah, at least it's not the Wilpons calling the show, leaving with something. Yeah, I guess. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Torrens. Torrens fouls off that pitch, goes into the seats. Count now 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Torrens fouls off that up and in fastball. Count remains 2-2. Cavalli into his windup. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Torrens fouls off that curveball. So good competitive AB here by Luis Torrens. Justin Willard here talking with Freddie Peralta, so I guess his job is done for today. Come on, Luis. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Torrens with a good take, takes that fastball outside, and it works the count full. Come on, Luis, get on base here. Get his fucking pitch count up a little bit. Come on, let's go. Here's the full count pitch to Torrens. And Torrens hits that ball. That ball's going to drop into right field for a single. Butler fields that ball cleanly, throws it into the infield, but Luis Torrens starts off the Mets here with the leadoff single here in the bottom part of the sixth. So the Mets do have life here. Good AB there, and good piece of hitting there by Torrens. That's their third hit of the ball game, and now Tyrone Taylor will come up here to hit. Let's see if the Mets could get something in this inning. I mean, come on. All right, now here's Tyrone Taylor for his second AB, and he swings first pitch, and that ball's gonna... Nope. McNeil fields that ball cleanly, or he makes the catch cleanly, but why the fuck are we swinging first pitch? I fucking can't stand... I can't stand that shit. You just fucking got your first hit in the last couple innings, and then you swing first pitch. I mean, come on. You know, here's Lindor here, and Lindor hits that ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Denzel Clark fields that ball cleanly on the hop, but Lindor here with the second hit of the ball game, and now the Mets have something cooking here in the bottom part of the sixth with runners at first and second. Good piece of hitting there by Lindor. Hit that ball right up the middle. And now Polanco comes up here to the plate with an RBI opportunity. That's the fourth Mets hit of this ball game. And Hogan Harris, the lefty, is warming up in the bullpen for the A's. And now the A's have called a mound visit. Come on, Polanco. Polanco so far with 2 strikeouts in this ball game. Both, I believe, on curveballs in the dirt. So here's the first pitch to Polanco. I hate the first pitch swinging there, but he fouls it off. So at least no outs there. But Cavalli here ahead 0-1. Come on, Jorge. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Polanco. Good take there by Polanco. Takes that changeup in the dirt. Count now 1-1. Come on, Jorge. Here's the 1-1. Polanco takes that pitch in the zone for a strike, and Cavalli is now ahead of him 1-2. Cavalli about to throw his 75th pitch of the ball game right here. Come on. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and Polanco hits that ball on the ground over to second base, over to first, but Polanco with enough speed to beat out that throw, so the Mets avoid the double play there. They now have runners at the corners, but with 2 outs, and Bo Bichette will come up now. Not the best, but also not the worst, but Jared Young. My bad, guys. I just looked at the lineup one place over. Yeah, Jared Young is coming up, but the A's will make a change here on the mound. Cavalli will come out, and Hogan Harris will come out here to hit now. Oh, sorry, not hit, but he will come out to pitch here for the A's. But good work by Cavalli here. He had a very solid game there. All right, and the Mets will make a change here. Mark Vientos will come in to pinch hit here for Jared Young. So Vientos will come in to hit here for Young here at first, or in the third part of the batting order, and then he'll also replace him at first base as well. But here's Vientos against Hogan Harris here. First pitch, and Vientos swings and misses at that fastball in the outside part of the plate. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Vientos hits that ball, but right at Lawrence Butler. Shields his eyes from the sun, makes the catch, and the Mets strand runners on base, and they cannot bring in a run. So we head to the top of the 7th with the A's still up 1-0. I really don't know, man. I really don't know, guys. I just, I don't know what to say. All right. So all of them, they suck. Viento's 2 weeks of hitting was a mirage. Back to being a bad player. We are getting killed tomorrow night, probably. I out on 500 of them that make the playoffs, so I should come from a mile away. Too many Met teams have seen. Two Cats, what is going on? Hi, Matt. We're getting swept. I almost rather watch Rangers hockey than the young kids, not entirely, but almost. No, I'm still not at that point. Fuck the Rangers. 50, not 500, like Mauricio. All right, here's Sean Manaea now into pitch for the Mets. So Peralta's done after 6 innings of work. And Manaea is here ahead, 0-1, as he faces Hernaiz. Manaea here quickly ahead of Hernaiz here, 0-2. And Vientos is into the game at first base. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hernaiz, what does the first umpire say? He says he went around to that pitch. So Sean Manaea comes out of the bullpen and strikes out Hernaiz to start off his outing. Good first batter there for Manaea. 3 pitches and a strikeout. Hernaiz just couldn't hold up on that sweeper inside. Doug, why is he punting? Well, because it's Mendoza, that's why. All right, but Manaea misses with that pitch. Upstairs to Denzel Clark. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Sweeper just catch the bottom part of the plate. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball misses up high, but the umpire says it's a strike and no challenge from Denzel Clark, so 1-2 count. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Manaea. Clark hits that ball to Vientos. He fields it cleanly, steps on first base, 2 outs. So good two quick outs here from Manaea to start off the 7th inning. All right, now here's Lawrence Butler's up here for another AB. His 4th AB of the day. He's 0-3. Manaea starts him off with that sweeper. Missed inside, but the umpire calls a strike and no challenge from Lawrence Butler, so the count remains 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Butler swings and misses on that sweeper on the outside part of the plate. And Minaya is quickly ahead of him, 0-2. Yeah, Doug, only Beatty's let the suck without getting yanked. All right, Minaya is in here to his windup. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Butler lays off on that sweeper on the outside part of the plate. Count now 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And swing and a miss there by Lawrence Butler. Misses over the top of that Minaya sweeper on the inside part of the plate. And Sean Minaya here with a very good inning of work here in the top of the 7th with 2 strikeouts there. And he has a quick 1-2-3 inning of work here against the A's. So we now head to the bottom part of the 7th where the A's are still up 1-0 over the Mets. And I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back now, guys. Let's see. 2Cat saying, I bet you they have a decent series against LA to tease us and then me to go back to being garbage. I don't know about that. I mean, with the way this team is playing right now, it's I'd say they get swept. But I mean, yeah. Here's a look ahead for the road ahead for the next 3 series. So the Mets go to LA for a 3-game set. Then they play the Cubs in Chicago for a 3-game set, and then they're back home to play a 3-game set against the Twins. The only year where Mets were good, Beatty, was in Syracuse. Coincidence? I don't know. Athletics just made Minaya look like a Cy Young winner. Shameful. 2022 was fun until it wasn't. Check the group chat. Jesus Christ. I wonder what this is. Hold on. Let me turn off my microphone. Andrew, what the fuck? I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but all right. But here's Bichette now up here. He has a 1-1 count against Hogan Harris. Pitch misses low and in. 2-1 count to Bichette. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Bichette swings and misses on that fastball on the outer part of the plate. Harris gets the count back to 2-2. Here's the pitch, and Bichette swings and misses at that fastball. Hogan Harris gets a strikeout here to start the bottom part of the 7th, and quickly one away here for the Mets. And now here's Brett Beatty up for his 3rd AB of the ball game. Flew out in his first 2 ABs. Beatty takes that pitch up and in for a ball, 1-0. Doug, what will Mendoza's presser be? Well, it's going to be a little something like this. We have a very talented ball club. We just have to turn things around. We have the players in there to do better. We just have to be better. That's what it's going to sound like. 2-0 count to Beatty. Beatty takes that pitch low and in. Count now 3-0. Alright. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Beatty. Takes that fastball in for a strike. Count is now 3-1. Mets have 8 outs to work with here to try and score 1 run. Will they do it? I don't know. One of the biggest mysteries in the world. Will the Mets score a run? Here's the 3-1 pitch to Beatty. And he fouls off that pitch. Count has now worked full. Marcus Semien on deck here for the Mets. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Beatty. And that looks like he drew a walk, but Langoliers will challenge. Let's see, though, if it just caught the plate. Hopefully he drew a walk. Show it. And, it just caught the top of the zone. Beatty strikes out here looking for the 2nd out of the inning. And the A's will go through their bullpen again. They'll make a pitching change. So Hogan Harris is out after facing a couple batters. And Scott Barlow will come on to replace him as he'll face Marcus Semien. Do this also. Ooh. All right, and now here's Scott Barlow to face Marcus Semien. Here's the first pitch to Semi, is in there for a strike. Ahead here 0-1. And Semi takes that ball out to left field. That won't have enough, though. Soderstrom will camp underneath it. Died at the warning track for the final out of the inning. So we head to the top of the 8th. A's still up 1-0. It'll be Kurtz, Langeliers, and Soderstrom to lead off for the A's in the top of the 8th. Pretty sure you could hear Carson in an anger room. You could hear Carson booing. Give up 11 runs, score 6. Give up 1, score 0. It's just how it works. All right, here's Manaea to face off against Nick Kurtz here. Starts him off with a strike here. He's ahead 1-0. Oh, sorry, 0-1. Kurtz swings and misses to the inside fastball. Manaea is ahead here 0-2. Manaea misses with that fastball low and in. Count now 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Kurtz fouls off that pitch. Count remains 1-2. And Kurtz takes that pitch away. Umpire called it a strike, but Terens will challenge that, and that's going to be overturned. Kurtz will strike out here for the first out of the inning. And yup, that was clearly a strike. So good challenge there by Terens and a good pitch there by Manaea. All right, now Manaea faces Shea Langeliers here. Fouls off that first pitch. Manaea's ahead here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That pitch misses low and inside for a ball. Count now 1-1. That sweeper misses low and away. Count now 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Langoliers. Langoliers fouls off that fastball. Count now 2-2. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Langoliers fouls off that high fastball, so he remains alive in the count. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Langoliers, and Langoliers again fouls off that high and away fastball, so he stays alive in the count. Beautiful fastball there by Minaya. Freezes Langoliers with that inside fastball, and he gets another strikeout there to start this top of the eighth. So back-to-back strikeouts here for Minaya. All right, now Minaya faces Tyler Soderstrom here. Soderstrom fouls off that pitch. He's now ahead 0-1, Minaya. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Sweeper catches the bottom part of the zone. Minaya quickly ahead of Soderstrom here, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Soderstrom hits that ball up the middle, but it's deflected off Minaya. Semia fields it cleanly over to first base, 3 outs. So Sean Minaya here comes out of the bullpen. He has 2 scoreless innings of work here. We head now to the bottom part of the eighth. Mets are still down 1-0. And it will be Carson Bench, Luis Torrens, and Tyrone Taylor to hit here for the Mets. And I imagine that Alvarez should come into pinch hit for Torrens. And then we'll see what else happens. Pitching's doing its job, but this offense just said, fuck it, I'm not doing anything. And you're not going to win ball games like that. Guys, I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back here for the bottom part of the eighth. Barlow stays in the game, and he faces Carson Bench here, and he misses with that inside pitch, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Bench takes that pitch on the outside part of the plate. Low. Count now 2-0. 111 of you guys watching the live stream. As always, thank you guys for your support. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, as well as share the live stream as well. You know, as always, guys, thank you. We do this because of you guys. Bench fouls off that pitch in the strike zone, and he fouls it off 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Bench fouls off that up and in pitch. Count now 2-2. And there's the play back all the way in the early innings where Carson Bench made that beautiful diving play to save 2 runs being scored from the A's. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Bench fouls off that inside sweeper. Stays alive in the AB. Tony saying, Matt, you called an excellent game. I truly enjoy it. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate your support. Come on, Bench. Please do something. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Bench gets under that, skies that into center field. Soderstrom called up Butler, then he stepped in front of him to record the first out of the 8th inning. Record the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. And now Torrens will come up, but I hope that Alvarez is pinch hitting for him. Elvis Alvarado. Oh, no, Luis Torrens still hitting. Torrens swings and misses on that outside pitch, 0-1. Devin Williams warming up in the pen for the Mets. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Torrens swings and misses on that breaking ball pitch, 0-2. Please just fire Mendoza. I can't do this anymore, man. Just fire him. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Torrens lays off that breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. 1-2. Right there with you, Pantries. Can't stand them. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Torrens hits that ball out to right field, but Lawrence Butler with a beautiful diving catch as he secures that for the second out of the inning. Torrens hit that ball hard to the opposite field, but Lawrence Butler just with a beautiful diving play. 2 outs. And now Tyrone Taylor will come in to hit. Here's the first pitch. That curveball hits the zone. Strike 1. Taylor 0 for 2 so far with a lineout and a flyout in the earlier innings. The 0-1 pitch. Taylor lays off that pitch low and away. Count now 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Taylor takes that pitch inside. Gets out of the count here 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That pitch challenged. Okay, thank you. All right. Umpire called that a strike, but Taylor's going to challenge that, and that's going to be overturned. So the count will be 3-1. Pantry saying only reason Mendoza still has a job is because we were around 500, but we are losing lots of games now, so it might get fired if the spiral continues. If they get swept today, I mean, regardless if they get, he should be still fired. I'm done with him. Taylor takes that pitch inside. That's ball 4. Tyrone Taylor draws a walk, and the Mets have a base runner here in the bottom part of the 8th, and Lindor will now come up. Hoopus got on base. Yup. Lindor can turn around the conversation right here. I guess the A's are going to pull Sparlow here. Mark Kotze is coming out to the mound. Yep, call to the bullpen. Barlow's out of the game. The A's make a pitching change. It's going to be Elvis Alvarado to come out here for the A's to face Lindor. And they'll probably finish out the rest of this ball game. Time for Lindor to do something. Hopefully, will Lindor choke or not? Betting on choke, hope not. Well, we'll find out. As I said, here's Elvis Alvarado on here to pitch this, to finish out this inning and probably the rest of the ball game for the A's. 7 games, 6.43 ERA. All right, Lindor. See what you can do. She's 2 for 3 so far with 2 singles. Here's the first pitch. Lindor takes that fastball outside for ball 1. Lindor singled back in the first and back in the 6th and popped out to the shortstop in the 3rd inning. Alvarado is set. He's into his windup. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Lindor takes that fastball up and in for ball 2. Taylor leading off at first base. Alvarado set. He's into his windup with the 2-0 pitch. Lindor holds off his swing, but the umpire says that caught the top of the zone, so count now 2-1. Alvarado checks Taylor back at first base, but he's back in there safely. So that's one disengagement. I'd send Taylor too. You gotta turn the momentum in some way. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Lindor. Swings and misses to that up and in fastball. Count is now at 2-2. Travis saying, let's go Mets. Yep, let's go Mets, Travis. Hopefully they can tie the ball game here. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Lindor. Alvarado's into his windup. Fouls off that pitch back into the stands. Count remains 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and Lindor taps that. McNeil fields it cleanly, but he mishandles it over to first base, but it's in time. Lindor grounds out, and the Mets cannot score yet again in the 8th inning. We head to the top of the 9th. Cortez, Muncy, and McNeil will hit here for the A's. And I assume Devin Williams is going to pitch, but I don't know. Let's see what the brilliant Mendoza will do in terms of his bullpen decision. Will he stick with Manai here for the 9th, or will he go to Devin Williams? Nope, Shamanai will stay in here. And Andy Ibanez will pinch hit for Carlos Cortez. Alright, Shamanai comes back out for his 3rd inning of work. And he gets Ibanez to swing and miss at that sweeper. Oh, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Ibanez. And Ibanez fouls that pitch back into the seats. And I quickly ahead 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Sweeper misses inside. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Ibanez fouls off that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Mendoza had balls. He'd send people next game. If Mendoza should be shot out of a fucking cannon and on the unemployment list. The 1-2 pitch. Ibanez fouls off that pitch again. Remains 1-2. Shutout 25 times in 20 games. Joel Kunal will will warm up in the bullpen here. So I guess Alvarado was just in there to get Lindor, and they'll go to Kunal to finish out the ball game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ibanez again fouls off that inside fastball. So he's making Manaea work here. Maxwell saying, nah, this won't last all season. Every team goes through bad stretches. If this keeps up, if Soto gets back, I'll start to worry about the rest of the season. I just think you can't wait till Soto comes back to, especially make a decision on the manager. Again, they need to pull the plug now. Michael, what is going on? What's up? I'm new to the channel. Well, welcome to Mets Weekly, Michael. Ibanez hits that ball out to left field, but Taylor will get underneath it to record the first out of the inning. Daniel saying, is the bench coach good? I mean, Correa has been known. I mean, most notably, he's been like a defensive specialist under both the Giants and the Guardians. Those teams have been decent defensive teams. So, I mean, as a whole, do I know like a lot about Correa? Not really, but I mean, he has a good resume. You know, if I were to say so, I guess he is. I guess like technically he is good, but again, managing and then being a bench coach is two different things. So, but Manias quickly ahead here on Muncy 0-2. Can you believe both the Yankees and Mets suck right now? I don't know. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Muncy hits that ball up the middle, but fielded cleanly by Semino to first base. 2 outs. We need Maxwell saying we need a manager that excels in handling a pitching staff. That's where Mendoza Mendoza struggles everywhere. Like I don't can anyone tell me one thing that Mendoza does really good? Apart from gaslighting. Tell me one thing apart from gaslighting that Mendoza does really good at, that he excels at. Because I can't name one thing. Here's Jeff McNeil now up here for his 4th AB of the day. He's 1 for 3. That fastball misses inside for a ball, 1-0. He's got a good smile. I mean, sure. So then go be a model if you got a good smile. Like, managing a baseball team made for you, buddy. Manaya misses outside with that fastball. McNeil's ahead of the count here, 2-0. Correa's an analytics guy. Yeah, that too. He's an analytics guy. 86 saying Binghamton was like 92-45 last year. We let the manager walk away. Maybe he got a promotion and he took it for he took a better job elsewhere. I mean, again, you got to look at other things as well with those type of things. Here's the 2-0 pitch to McNeil. McNeil swings and misses through that fastball. Count now 2-1. Here's a 2-1 pitch. McNeil gets under that sweeper and pops it up. Vientos will get under it to make the final out of the inning. So we head to the bottom of the 9th, where Polanco, Vientos, and Bichette will look to hit for the Mets to try and bring in a run. And the Mets will try to avoid a 5-game losing streak. Will they do it? I don't know. But good work there by Benaya. 3 scoreless innings of work. Only gave up, like 1 hit or something like that. Walked 1 guy. Benaya was solid today. I'll give him credit there. Again, the velo not where we want it to be, but he did his job. He got called upon, and he gave you 3 scoreless innings of work. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys, we're back. Hornet saying, did Minai have elbow surgery? No, he didn't. He did not have elbow surgery. Pitching has been solid today. Yup. That's the tribal chief we need, minus the low velo. All right, here's Jorge Polanco now. And Kuno will come. Kuno comes out of the bullpen to pitch here for the A's to try to close out this ball game. Polanco ahead here, 1-0. He's 0 for 3 so far in this ball game. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Polanco hits that ball into the dirt. Fielded clean by McNeil over to first base. 1 out. 1 away here. Mets have 2 outs to work with here. And Vientos will come up here. Vientos flew out back in the 6th inning. He's 0 for 1 today. Here's the first pitch to Vientos. Hits that ball into the ground. Muncy fields it cleanly. Why are we swinging first pitch? Why are we swinging first pitch? Why are we swinging first pitch? All right. Vientos grounds out. Mets are down to their final fucking out. Fucking fire this fucking clown tonight. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm done. I'm done with this fucking asshole. Unfucking believable. This shit up here. Final. And he fucking swings. First pitch again. Ground out. Mets lose. Fire him. Fire him. Get him fucking out of here. I am done. Fire this fucking guy. Take a catapult. Take a slingshot. Put it on the fucking Whitestone Bridge and shoot that guy all the way back to fucking Venezuela. Fuck him. I'm done. He better not be on the fucking plane to LA. He better not. I swear to God, if he's on that plane to LA and this team, I don't know. Get him gone. I'm done with him. I'm done. I'm done with this manager. I'm done. Mets fall to 7-9. A's go to 8-7. Lose 1-0. Guys, I'll set up the post-game show. And we'll be right back. As always, we'll take that 9-minute break. And we'll break down the game, even though there's not much to break down. If you guys want, I can drop the what's it called? The thing in the comments section. The link to the StreamYard account. And you guys can do call-ins. If you guys want to call in again, that's fine. It's up to you guys. I'll drop it if you guys want to get in here. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
All right, what is going on, everyone? And we are back live here for post-game coverage as the New York Mets. It is a mess right now. It is a mess to say the least, but we're back live here to talk about game 16 of the regular season. But first and foremost, before we get into everything, be sure to subscribe to the Mets Weekly YouTube channel for new episodes of the Mets Weekly podcast that go live after every single series. So there will be an episode tomorrow to recap the embarrassment that was this series. For those of you that are watching or listening on playback and you want to join the conversation in the future, make sure to turn on those post notifications to know when we go live all throughout the regular season. Make sure to follow Mets Weekly on X, TikTok. Follow all of us individually. Links are down in the description. And I'm just so fed up with this garbage right now. I don't know where to even begin with the entire thing here. I don't know where to start with this team today. Do we start with, once again, another mental mistake from Lindor hurting this team at a point? Do we start with the manager who has no idea what he's doing? Do we start with the fact that you have way too many black holes right now in this lineup with guys that, again, Bo Bichette, I don't think he's going to underachieve throughout the season. Jorge Polanco, I don't think he's going to underachieve all throughout the regular season. But when guys like that are coming up so small while your best player's on the IL, that's a problem. And for this team to put together non-competitive at-bats, especially in that ninth inning, is embarrassing. You saw the difference throughout this entire series of, one, a quality offense, and two, you saw a manager running circles around Carlos Mendoza. How come the A's could go out there and use their high leverage relievers on back-to-back days or to get more than 3 outs? But Carlos Mendoza, no. Heaven forbid Brooks Raley touches the mound back-to-back days. Heaven forbid Devin Williams pitches in a one-run game. He can only pitch in ties and save situations. This manager is not holding anyone accountable for their mental mistakes, which is also, once again, a huge problem. And I'm just at a point where I don't know how I'm going to take this team seriously until Carlos Mendoza gets fired. Because at the end of the day, if the roster is not going to take him seriously, why should I take this team seriously until there's a change with the manager? It's disgusting baseball, and 2 games under 500, it's not a deep hole, pause, but it's also, when you look at the schedule that you got to start off with here before heading to LA, this team should easily, at the very least, be, in my opinion, 2 games above 500 at the very least. To sit here 7-9 right now, and not only sitting 7-9, but an ugly 7-9, that's a problem. Matt, jump in.
Carlos Mendoza is such a giant horse cock. He needs to get fucking fired. He needs to go back to fucking Venezuela. I don't give a shit what he does there. Sweeping floors, fucking McDonald's. He could be a plumber for all I give a fuck. The guy, I'm done with him. I am fucking done. You cannot let him go to LA. He probably will go to LA. And that decision in itself is a fucking disgrace. Listen, it's 7-9. We're still early. It's only 2 games under 500. This season is very salvageable. Don't let this fucking spiral into a fucking dumpster fire because, we gotta wait till fucking May 1st. That's the cutoff. That's the deadline. No. Get rid of him fucking today. I'm done with him. He needs to fucking go. He doesn't know how to manage a bullpen. He doesn't know how to construct a lineup. He doesn't know how to hold players accountable. He can't do nothing. He's a fucking Make-A-Wish manager. Get him fucking gone tonight. It's over. It's done. He's done. It's finished. I'd rather have Stevie Wonder in the fucking dugout than this loser. I'm done. That's it. It's over. Get Kai Correa in here. Get the fucking hot dog vendor in here. Get Frank the Tank in the dugout. I don't give a shit. This guy can't be here because he's gonna say the same shit in the fucking post-game press conference. Oh, we got talent. We got talent. We're gonna do this.
Can I get to that?
What did this fucking what did this dumbass say?
I mean, you nailed it. It's the same hits. He said it's just a bad stretch. Continue to trust the players. They're really good.
I'm done.
It's the same lyrics from the post-game conference every single game dating back to last year. It's the same song, same lyrics, same dance, everything. And doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like last season? And, what were Matt and I saying all of last season about this guy? That maybe he's not any good. And you know what? This is where I'm getting frustrated with David Stearns, because I'm frustrated for a different reason than most, because most people are pissed at him with the way that this roster is constructed, letting go of Cheeto Bear, whatever. I'm not there. You guys know how Matt and I feel that there need to be changes to this roster because you can't run the same thing back that has failed. But I digress. The reason I'm fed up is you are basically using Mendoza, and this was what I said in the offseason. It just has this feeling that Stearns is using Mendoza as a shield to where if the roster construction looks a little flawed at the beginning, Mendoza could go and Stearns won't look like the bad guy. And it all falls on Stearns. And to go in the season with him on the hot seat, what is that accomplishing other than the fact that the guy sucks? This is to steal what you say all the time about it. The guy already sucks under pressure, and now you're asking him to go into the season on the hot seat. What are you expecting him to do other than fail?
I had a bad feeling that this was going to happen. And I thought that maybe the roster would be just good enough to overcome the fact that this guy's not the right guy in place. It doesn't matter, though, because, again, listen, say what you want about the roster construction. Because there's people that say, we should have brought back Pete, we should have brought back Nimmo, we should have brought back McNeil. Look at the series he had. It would have been the same exact thing. Because, again, you basically brought in a whole new group of players, and the same mistakes that were happening last year, the same unpreparedness that were happening last year, it's happening again with new players. Now, listen, could it be a chance that the players that Stearns brought in are not good? Yeah, it could be a possibility. But when the same things are happening over two different groups, I'm sorry, well, you have to figure in who's the one carryover, and again, different coaching staff too. Who's the one carryover? Who's the one guy that these two factors are happening on there? This guy, Mendoza. And listen, you were a bit quicker to the notion that Mendoza was a fraud because I wanted to give him a bit more time last year. But when we got to the second half of the year and when that collapse happened, especially with this whole bullpen management and when that final out got recorded in Miami to officially put the final nail in the coffin of the Mets season, I was just, get him out of here. Get him out of here because, again, like we've been saying, if the guy already sucks when there's no pressure on him, then he's going to suck even more, when his ass is fucking on fire because Kai Correa is knocking on his door trying to take his job. So, again, it's just everything, but it's really just everything. It's like I said, I asked the people in the comment section, tell me one thing other than gaslighting is Carlos Mendoza good at. I know Maxwell told me his smile's great. Good, if his smile's great, go be a fucking model somewhere. I like the guy. He excels at nothing.
Glasses.
Yeah. Shove those glasses up your fucking ass. It's just fucking. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to construct a lineup. He doesn't know how to talk to players. He doesn't know how to handle or keep anyone accountable. He doesn't know how to manage the fucking bullpen. That's for sure. What's this guy good at? Nothing. He's, you know what? He's good. He might be good. He might be a good AAA manager. I'll give him that. Maybe he's good at that. And he should go down to AAA because at this level, he can't cut it. He can't. I'm sorry.
And I get the comments that you guys are saying. There are only 2 games below 500 and this and that. Like, listen, I have been saying it for weeks that I've been preaching patience with the guys that they brought in because it is a new group. And I want to give them time to see how they could gel together because we saw on opening day, we have seen at points this season, the offense come through. The problem is the manager. The problem is the common denominator, which is the same guy that was responsible for the slow start in 2024 and responsible for the collapse last season, which, yes, part of it was the roster, but a big part of it as well was Carlos Mendoza. And I mean, where do we begin? The fact that he admits in the post game yesterday, okay, Lindor has not been right. All right, so that means he should be benched today. No, that means give him the day off, let him reset. Nah, Lindor's in the lineup, still batting leadoff. And you know what? To his credit, he gets a leadoff hit, and you think, okay, maybe Mendoza actually pushed the right button for once. All of that just for Lindor to show again he is mentally checked out by not even could we exceed a country mile? He was out by light years on that strike him out, throw him out double play. And I'm sure Lindor's still not going to get a day off. Do we go to the fact that Jared Young, who has been swinging the bat well, why are you pinch hitting for him when Brett Beatty has done fuck all? When Carson Bench has been struggling at the plate? Why is it that, of all people, you elect to use Mark Vientos for Jared Young? And not only that, you elect to use Mark Vientos when 2 of your hottest hitters are on the bench today, and they never got an at-bat today. How is it that Robert and Alvarez don't even get an at-bat at all in this game today?
I have no idea.
You could argue Mauricio deserved an at-bat at some point today. But no, Jared Young, who, again, you're batting him third because he's been hitting well, but then you're taking him out and you're letting guys like Brett Beatty take shit at bats still. Marcus Semien, who doesn't take good at bats. Carson Bench, who has been struggling. Tyrone Taylor, which, sure, he drew a walk later on in this game, but he doesn't put together the best at bats. You're letting those guys hit, and you don't use your best hitter once during this game in a 1-0 ball game. It's things like this that separate this team from being one of the top teams in baseball. Because you're telling me that the Dodgers would manage their bench this way. You're telling me that any good team would handle things this way. No. This manager is completely full of himself, and he's lost. He has no idea what he's doing.
And listen, I get with like guys like with Robert per se, they want to be careful with him because of the injury concern. But when you're struggling this much for offense, especially late in the game, and again, I know that Taylor drew the walk. Take him, or even Bench. Take him out. Take him out and pitch hit him for Robert. And even like with Torrens, Torrens has been solid so far. He made some good contact on a couple balls today. Got robbed of a second hit because of a Lawrence Butler dive. But you got to put in Alvarez there. You got to put in your power guy. It's just I don't know. He's done. He's finished at this point, and I'm scared because I know we saw that Stearns was hesitant last year to fire any of the coaches, and I know that Post article said that if the Mets start out slow, Mendoza's seat will be under serious threat. I'm seriously scared to wonder. Well, how long is that leash? Like really? Because I'm sorry, 7-9 as you're going into LA to face the Dodgers, and they're currently the best team in baseball with their 14-3 right now. That should be the leash right there. Done. Cut them. It's over. It's finished. Don't again. It's like I'm saying. And listen, if they fire Mendoza, I still expect this team to make the playoffs, like I said in yesterday's postgame, because I think this roster is good enough to eventually make the playoffs. Whether they do anything in the playoffs, that's another point. But I think the roster is good enough to make it. They need someone, though, a real, actual adult in the room, an actual manager to take this team forward, because there is no leadership in the clubhouse right now. Lindor's not the leader. Again, I don't know if he has a concussion. I don't know if he's dealing with any family issues off the field. If he is, then please, Lindor, take time off and fucking better yourself. Soto should come back relatively soon. Again, that will help. But Soto's not going to help the defensive lapses. He's not going to help the base running lapses. Sure, you'll score a couple more runs, but ultimately, his bat will only help so much. And still, it's a big help, but it's not going to solve all the rest of the issues. I'm lost.
So am I. I mean, we're just as lost as the manager, apparently, and Lindor, who, 2 years ago, everyone wanted this guy named captain. Even a year ago, everyone wanted this guy named captain, and this is what we're getting. Should we get to the call-ins now? Because we do have a couple. Let's bring in.
I was just going to say before we do that, guys. For anyone that does call in, please make sure you guys are respectful. Again, if you want to curse, you want to say fuck, you want to say shit, fine. Just don't go over the top, because we want to keep these. We want to keep these things going. We want to do these from time to time, and unfortunately, if one person goes over the top, it ruins it for everyone else. So please keep it respectful, and also let's try to maybe keep it like a minute 30, kind of like that. Keep it short, quick, to the point. If you guys have a good question, we'll have a discussion. But again, the main point is just keep it respectful and in line.
Yes, 100% what Matt said. And it's pretty much a one and done type of deal if you cross the line. I also want to make that clear. But let's bring in Mets 2128 calling in. What's going on?
I am really, if anything, I want both Stearns and Mendoza gone at the end of the season, regardless if the Mets make the playoffs or not. And the rate they're going, they're not. I mean, Stearns has always been accused of being an emotionless, skinflint dumpster diver with no sense of loyalty to anybody but himself, right?
Yeah, okay.
In many ways, he's the equivalent of he's that Donzo kind of character and kind of manager. He doesn't care for loyalty. He will commit war crimes to sabotage his own team, to build it in his sick and disgusting image, to where the point you want to take revenge on his ass. I mean, I did an episode of my own podcast show on the Diamond last night, and you should see the title card. That is over the top, where I had both him and Stearns in the one place they don't want to be right now.
In the guillotine?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I understand the frustration with Stearns. I get it. I know that. I mean, again, I don't know what your thoughts were on the players.
Before you keep going, before you finish. If Atlanta wins the division this year, I'll be okay with it, since we've stomached it for what would be 18 of the last 32 years.
Okay, but
Philly doesn't win it again. I mean, we've lived enough through Atlanta being on top, have we not?
Yeah, no, we have, but I mean, again, I don't know what your thoughts were on the former, did you want to keep Pete and stuff? Were you cool with keeping Nimmo?
I would have even held Stearns at gunpoint to keep him.
Okay. See, that is the stuff we're talking about. Yeah, that can't be tolerated. Nonetheless, just to, I don't know how to segue from that, but yeah, like Matt and I've said, they had to make changes to the roster And that's just one of the things that's one of the things Stearns had no choice but to do. And whether you like it or not, I get it. It's frustrating. Fan favorites, the Cheeto Bear, but they had to try something new. And I could tell you right now, they would be in the same exact spot right now with keeping the roster together from last year. And if not, maybe even worse. I don't know, because Pete Alonso's not playing good right now.
No,
I
he's
know
not.
Nimmo's putting up good counting numbers, so everyone's pointing at that. But is Brandon Nimmo really going to be the difference maker? We've seen him here for how many years not be a difference maker?
Yeah, I don't know. But we got Pantries in here. Pantries, what's going on?
Yo, guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
Not too bad. Couple rough series right there, but it is what it is. I completely agree with you guys on Mendoza. He is just awful. He's not good at anything. The lineup's the problem. The pen management's a problem. Defensive substitutions are a huge problem. Like, there's not a single thing he's good at. It's frustrating. But I wish he'd be fired. But it's only 16 games into the season, so I highly doubt that the organization's ready to get rid of him, even though we are. We see the problems. They should see the problems too, but I don't know. I just don't see it happening this soon.
I mean, that I agree with. That I don't think it's happening until May, the earliest. I think that's the absolute earliest, but it also goes to a point where, Stearns did say during the offseason, there were times I should have been more proactive than I was. And this is one of those things where it's like, okay, prove it then. Prove that you're willing to be proactive.
Yeah, 100% agreed. But, I don't know. I also feel does Lindor maybe have, a concussion from getting uppercut on that slide home that one time? Because it's he's just completely spaced out on defense sometimes. It's kind of crazy.
That and on the bases right now.
Yeah.
That's not usually Lindor. Usually he might have a single error the whole season. But it's the caught running, the defensive miscues, not turning double plays, just being nowhere on defense. It's kind of worrying.
No, yeah, listen, that's the biggest thing. It's we all expected him to start slow offensively because he's always been known as a slow starter. Plus, to factor in the fact that he got the handmade bone surgery, so we knew that there was always going to be a lack of power to start the season. But like you've been saying, Pantries, the lack of awareness on the base pass, the lack of awareness on defense, that's not slow starting offensively. That's not because of handmade surgery. That's just a lack of paying attention and a lack of being just totally focused in the game. And again, if it is concussion, if he's dealing with something outside, like family related, like I've been saying, just please take time away from the team because your own health matters a lot more. I mean, we saw it, 2-3 years ago when Anthony Rizzo had that concussion play for the Yankees, and his game was completely went off the rails. And eventually, he eventually got better, but it took time for the Yankees to actually figure out that he had a concussion. So for this, if this is the same situation, again, I don't know. I'm not in Lindor's head. I don't know if he feels, but if he's feeling just anything, and I get that Lindor's a gamer, I get that he's a grinder, I know he wants to be out there all 162, but if you're hurting the team in this many multiple ways to start the year, you can't be playing right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100% agree. I guess you could use he didn't have a spring training as an excuse because of the handmade bone, but I personally don't like it. Man, it's just rough right now. Just literally nothing's going right. As soon as we start hitting, our pitching disappears and vice versa. And then you have Mendoza not subbing in players that are better defensively. And then what happens? Oh, the defense becomes a problem. It's just the same thing as last year over and over again.
He did it 2 times this series. He warmed up Devin Williams down 1-0. and didn't use him at all in the next inning because he's like, no, I can only use my closer when we're up going to the ninth inning. And again, that's just the wrong mentality. I get that it's early in the season and you don't want to burn Devin Williams out completely and you want to save his arm, but you got to use him from time to time in some of these situations just to keep the game close. I know Manaea did a really good job there at the pen. He threw 3 scoreless innings and he was decent at even though the velo was still way down to what we want it to be, but it's still, what happened in a situation where it's like, okay, you put up Manaea there for the 9th inning, he gives up like 3 runs, and then the Mets end up scoring 2 runs. It's like, again, I know it's all hypotheticals, but still, there might be a scenario where that happens because Mendoza's not proactive enough to say, okay, let's put in my closer now to keep it close, just in case if the offense gets an opportunity in the 9th, let's keep him in a spot where it's close.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we were all commenting that on that first game when he brought up Devin on warmups and then just sat him back down and then, oh, what do you know? We lose the game because, what was it? Weaver couldn't keep it close?
No, it was Tobias Myers. He came in.
Myers, yes, that's right.
And the one thing about Myers is he pitched already like two two-thirds of an inning. So you should
his fourth up down. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Williams should have been up for that 9th inning.
Yeah, and oh man, dude, the lineup is just brutal right now, and it just changes every freaking day. Like, can we not have some stability? Like, I know there's some people hurt, but like, man, I think all this rotating of players in the lineup is hurting more than helping. Like, same thing was a problem last year. And the year before that, Mendoza just loves to rotate the lineup over and over and over. And the matchups he loves to do, like, they don't help either.
Oh, yeah. And then the one time, let's not forget this because it came out a couple days ago, like the few substitutions that he was making in that Giants series, that was actually Kai Correa's ideas.
Yep.
So it wasn't even like Mendoza was the one putting out those ideas to like pinch hit Jared Young in that spot or pinch hit Vientos. That's all Kai Correa. And listen, whether or not Kai Correa translate his good work from bench coach to manager, because at the end of the day that's a big step to take from translation, and it's not necessarily going to go over well, but every passing day that goes by, again, like, I'm just scared for the fact that, like, Mendoza will go. I see no scenario where he finishes the season as the manager. I'm just scared the Mets and Stern's going to leave it too late to the point where it's like it's too late to salvage the season.
Yeah, it's possible. But, like, I mean, I trust the players' back of their baseball cards. So, like, I have a really hard time imagining that, like, they're not going to turn it around at some point. But like you said, it could be too late. Like it almost was in 2024, right? We only made the playoffs by 1 game.
Yeah. And that's not a sustainable way to play baseball.
Yep. Like, I mean, our schedule was really easy these past couple of weeks. And we're below 500 now, and then now it's starting to get a little harder. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we take a couple games off the Dodgers because this team does weird shit like that. But I don't know. I would not be surprised if we get swept either.
Yeah. I don't know.
But thank you, Pantries, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
See you.
Brought up a lot of really great points throughout that entire time. The Williams thing I wanted to touch on a little more because, I was texting in our group chat yesterday too with Luke Weaver struggling. Yeah. The fact that Devin Williams didn't even start warming up at any point, it just, again, this manager's done that so many times. How many times have you, me, or any of us complained about how he'll let a guy struggle and then take forever to get someone warmed up. And then, you have to rush the guy to get warmed up, rush the guy to get into the game because you waited too long and you weren't proactive. It's the same thing as the past 2 years with the manager. And you're seeing it yet again. Even when Weaver, he first got into the game, you should have had Williams warmed up behind him because you knew the top of the order was right around the corner. And in a close game, it's like, okay, if this game stays close and Weaver starts to falter a little bit because, again, he just came off that appearance against the Diamondbacks where he got hit pretty well, you got to say, okay. And the moment he walked Nick Kurtz, Weaver should have been out of that ball game.
But nope. Mendoza says, let me keep him in there, and then all hell broke loose.
It's just the same shit that he did with Diaz, where he tried to be too cute with him and, didn't only wanted to put him in the perfect spots, didn't want to use him in any other situations. And it's like, you can't do that. You just cannot manage your bullpen that way. We just saw the A's utilize who was it, Kunel, in back-to-back games, and then this offense doesn't even make him sweat it out today at all.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole game rundown. But yeah, they used, after Cavalli came out, they used Harris, Barlow, Alvarado, and Kunal. They were aggressive, and they used a bunch of relievers yesterday too, because it was such a high-scoring game yesterday. It's just, I don't know.
It's just the difference in a manager that's got a feel versus doesn't, and it's sad. It's sad how many teams that you should be better than have managers running circles around you. I mean, even in that first game of the Giants series, you got a college manager running laps around Mendoza. And this is really at the 4-pitch inning. That's embarrassing.
That set me off.
Absolutely embarrassing. And it's stunning too when you look at these guys' resumes and seeing them put together at bats like that. But I do want to get to a couple of start comments. You guys think if they go 0-6 versus LA and Chicago, pushing it to 11 in a row, Mendy's fired?
He better be.
At that point,
he better be.
At that point,
if they get swept by the Dodgers, just gotta go. I don't care that you're in the middle of the road trip. I mean, he should be gone today. He shouldn't even be allowed on the plane to LA, but he probably will. But I'm telling you, if they get completely shellacked in LA and the Dodgers put up crooked numbers against them, and guess who's pitching tomorrow, by the way? David Peterson. Yeah. So they're gonna get fucking destroyed today. And guess what? You use Sean Manaea today. I mean, I guess they could use Tobias Myers tomorrow for as a long man to get through when Pearson ultimately gets destroyed by the Dodgers. But I mean, what? They'll lose tomorrow. That's going to be a 6-game losing streak. Then what? It's what, Clay Holmes on? No, it's McLean. Okay, maybe they might win that game, but then again, the offense probably won't perform even if McLean throws a gem. And then you have Clay Holmes to pitch the finale. I mean, I don't know who's lined up to pitch in those Dodger series, but
for the Dodgers,
yeah,
let's take a look real quick. This is where we wish we had Carson to give us the graphics on deck. So tomorrow's Warboleski. You have Yamamoto versus McLean. Wonderful, and then you have Ohtani versus Holmes. So.
Nice.
Yeah. I just I don't know how this is gonna. I don't envision this going well. I just don't. No. And obviously, I hope that I am wrong, but it's hard to have confidence right now in this team when this is the kind of baseball we're seeing, and again, it's not even just, like the ebbs and flows of the game, as we always say, but it's so many mental errors that's the problem. That's what's frustrating. And that's what you talk about all the time is we could deal with losing games because it happens. It's 162. But when you are losing games in this fashion to where it's a disgusting brand of baseball, I can't accept that. And it's hard to envision a light at the end of the tunnel, lightning, some might say, at the end of the tunnel, when that's the case.
I'm just lost for words at this point. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, if I were a betting man, I could imagine what's gonna happen against LA. It's not a good thing for us, but yeah, I don't know. Again, the quicker this manager is fired, the better, because I still think this team is good enough to salvage the season. Again, if they fire him quick enough, I still think they'll make the playoffs because I think their roster is good enough. And obviously, look, when Soto gets back, He'll be a massive help. Obviously, I mean, Stearns already started making changes to the bullpen because Lovelady's. But I mean, we all know he's going to be back within a month anyway because this is just how the cycle of life works for Dickie Lovelady. But we already saw that Garcia has been cut loose. Joey Gerber came up. Minter, I know he threw another scoreless inning today for St. Lucie. Tommy Pham's been hitting well down in St. Lucie for them. So I don't know, but. Again, they could bring back all the players they want. They can make all the additions they want. If this manager is still going to be here, then nothing will change.
It's what I text in the group chat that we've entered the territory at this point. At least for me, I don't know if you agree that it's similar to the Rangers, where until Drury goes, it's hard for me to sit here and actually, expect anything different and care. I'm actually at that point with this manager where it's hard for me to give a fuck until this guy's gone.
Yeah.
But do you have any other thoughts before we wrap up the show here?
Man, listen, it is what it is. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. #Fire Mendoza. Oh, and also make sure to keep a lookout for tomorrow. Carson and Andrew will be doing a podcast episode. I'm sure that's going to be fun. They'll have a ton of fun breaking down this A series because there's just so much good things to talk about. So make sure. I don't know what time that's going to be. The Dodgers game is a late game. It's a 10 o'clock game. So I'd imagine maybe around 6 o'clock. See, I caught myself there. So yeah. So make sure you guys keep a lookout for that.
Yeah. And that is going to do it for us. So thank you, everyone, for tuning into the watch along and post game here for game 16 of 162 versus the Athletics. Make sure to subscribe to the Mets Weekly channel for new episodes of the podcast, which, like Matt said, will be live tomorrow and all throughout the regular season after every single series. For those of you that are watching or listening on playback and you want to join the conversation in the future, make sure to turn on those post notifications to know when we go live. Make sure to follow Mets Weekly on X, TikTok, and follow all of us individually. The links are down in the description. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you for Pain and Misery late at night tomorrow.